I call to order tonight's Board of Public Works meeting on July 19th, 2022. Welcome to all of you joining in person or on Zoom. Just as a reminder, if you are on Zoom and you would like to join in at an appropriate time, feel free to enter something in the chat or use the raise hand function. I'll start with messages from board members.
I have no messages.
And I have none as well, except thank you, April, for leading us along here. So we'll go to petitions and remonstrances. Does anyone have anything to speak about that is not on the agenda?
My name's Greg Alexander. 2 weeks ago, I saw you guys had a homeowner here at Hillside and Rogers Road that he'd let his yard become overgrown, and he insisted it was because of materials that had been left in his yard because of the contractor that had built the side path along the east side of his yard. And I was real interested to see this body try a question of fact, and so I wanted to find out what the facts were. So the very next day, after your meeting, I went down there and looked, and he was right. The contractor had left a lot in his yard, and he was wrong. 90% of his yard, it didn't impact it. He could have mowed it, but the part that was impacted, it had a traffic sign just laying longwise into his yard. And if you have like a riding mower, like that will destroy your tires and you don't even want to get near it. And right beside that was like an 8-foot by 6-foot like a cork board with like OSHA regulations on it and equal opportunity employer regulation, contractor stuff, Reed & Sons, a contract you guys oversee. And they had indeed left that there, and that was along the south side, and it was, there's a side path there. It looks like a side path to me. It might be a sidewalk. If it's a side path, I think the city clears it. If it's a sidewalk, I think the owner clears it. And I don't know it. Whoever was clearing it had stopped because there was all this debris left at the south end of his property. And so the city very diligently fined this homeowner and even put him in abatement. But they didn't take care of the problem that was actually affecting pedestrians and cyclists, which they had caused, which is the reason for the Board of Public Works, because that is a public work that you guys have responsibility for. And I'm very disappointed in that. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Does anyone else have any petitions or remonstrances?
To improve the conditions that they found.
That's a great update. Thank you. So we'll move on to the next section of our agenda, Title VI Enforcement, considering the abatement at 2216 South Laurelwood.
Kenny Lyford. I am a neighborhood compliance officer for Housing Neighborhood Development, City of Bloomington. I'm here to ask for a continuous abatement due to excessive growth at the property located at 2216 South Laurelwood Drive.
Can you tell us a little bit about the issues at the property?
Yes, this has been in my neighborhood for a couple of years now, and it's last year a neighbor actually mowed the front yard for the person that lives there. I've never had any interaction with the owner. He rarely takes the citations off the door. I've never even seen the person. A neighbor tells me that he does live in there. But I issued a warning on 4/8/22. I issued a $50 fine on 5/10 of 22. A $100 fine on 5/24 of 22, a $150 fine on 6/9 of 22, and then on 7/6 of 22, another $150 fine with the section for the abatement checked on that citation. I've never had any interaction. He's never called in, or he or she, I really don't know. So it's waist high or better, and the HOA has reached out several times.
Have you been past the property this week?
I went yesterday, and it has not been mowed. I'm sure the backyard is equally as tall, but it is fenced in, so there's nothing I can say or do about that. But the front and the sides are at least waist high.
Would the abatement then just go with the front and sides of the property or the back as well?
What we can see from the street, we are allowed to address.
Okay.
So it will be the front yard, which could probably be done in about 15 minutes with a weed eater, but it is what it is, so they'll.
Any other questions from the board?
No.
Any public comment on this item?
I see no raised hands or chat.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the abatement at 2216 South Laurelwood Drive.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
So next we'll move to the consent agenda, which covers the the approval of minutes from June 5th, 2022, the addendum to Centerstone Cooperative Services Agreement, Resolution 2022-48 to renew mobile vendor in public right-of-way for Kona Ice Truck Number 2, Resolution 2022-49 to renew mobile vendor in the public right-of-way for Uno Mas Taco Truck, a noise permit for TD's, CD's, and LP's Employee Appreciation Picnic, a noise permit for the Dr. Ross Memorial Bike for Fitness, Resolution 2022-50, the Supermarket Pop-Up, Resolution 2022-51, the Student Involvement Fair, Resolution 2022-53, WFHB Block Rocker, Resolution 2022-54, the Banneker Center Summer Block Party, and the approval of payroll. April, is there anything that needs to come off the consent agenda?
Not that I'm aware of, no.
Okay. Comments from the board?
No.
Is there any public comment on the consent agenda?
I see none on Zoom.
All right. Do I have a motion?
I move that we approve the consent agenda for the July 19th, 2022 Board of Public Works meeting.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now we'll move to new business with amendment number 1 to the agreement with American Structure Point, Inc. for on-call traffic engineering services.
Good evening, Neil Copper with the Engineering Department. This contract includes traffic signal retiming, development, and deployment, traffic simulations, intersection analyses, traffic signal design reviews, and other similar tasks. Work is completed on an on-call basis for both the engineering and the public works departments. This contract with American Structure Point was originally executed in December of 2017 with a not-to-exceed amount of $30,000. That amount has been expended. This amendment adds $20,000 to that not-to-exceed amount for a new total of $50,000, and the amendment also updates the hourly billing rates to reflect the firm's current rates. Staff recommends approval, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the board?
I just want to clarify that the $30,000 and the amount to which it's been increased, that's not an annual amount, that's a cumulative amount since 2017?
Correct. It's not annual, it is cumulative.
Other questions from the board?
No.
Is there any public comment on this item?
I see no raised hands or chats.
All right. Could I get a motion, please?
I move that we approve amendment number 1 to the agreement with American Structure Point Incorporated for on-call traffic engineering services.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll move to addendum number 1 to the preliminary engineering contract with Bynum Faneuil and Associates, Inc. for the Adams Street Sidewalk Project.
Hi, Patrick Durgas, Engineering Department. For the Adams Street sidewalk, which will install new sidewalk on the west side of Adams Street from Kirkwood up to Fountain Drive, we need an addendum for additional right-of-way services. The contract initially assumed right-of-way services for 4 parcels. After further design, it was increased to 12 parcels. This contract amount, this addendum amount is significant at $86,920. However, this is what we assume is the worst-case scenario for this addendum. We've included now appraisal problem analysis, which will determine which appraisal type we need to use. We hope that this amount will not be fully expended and we'll be able to have the right-of-way services at a lower amount. The right-of-way services, all the pricing is set by an NDOT list for the current calendar year. And so as we determine which appraisals we will use, the prices will be based upon the NDOT posted rates. Available for any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
I have no questions.
I have no questions either. April, is there any public comment?
I see none.
Okay. Is there a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve addendum number 1 to preliminary engineering contract with Bynum Fainu and Associates Incorporated for the Adams Street Sidewalk Project.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now we'll move to the LPA consulting contract with VS Engineering for right-of-way services for the First Street reconstruction project from Fairview Street to College Avenue.
Hi, Patrick Durgis again, City Engineering. For the First Street project, we have a design contract, a preliminary engineering contract with VS. For NDOT contracts, we cannot contract for right-of-way services until the environmental is clear. And so this contract is a new contract, but following the NDOT requirements with VS Engineering for the right-of-way services. Previously, we've done addendum to include both appraisals and APAs for this. And so this is just the right-of-way management for the project. For a total contract amount of $31,380, and available for any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
No questions, thanks.
No questions? April, are there any public comments?
I see none, but I would like to remind anyone who is attending via Zoom that if you have a comment, to please either raise your hand or use the chat function. None.
Thank
on
you.
Zoom.
Is there a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve LPA consulting contract with VS Engineering for right-of-way services for the First Street reconstruction project from Fairview Street to College Avenue.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now we'll go to the construction inspection contract with Crossroad Engineers, PC, for the Beeline Extension Project.
Good evening, Roy Aiton with City Engineering Department. This project will construct a multi-use path along the east side of North Fountain Drive and the North Crescent Road, connecting the Beeline Trail to the multi-use path along 17th Street. The project is programmed in the MPO tip and for construction in the 2023 year. Last fall, the city issued a request for proposals for construction inspection services and received 11 letters of interest. After evaluating the letters of interest, the evaluation team selected Crossroad Engineers PC as the highest-ranked firm. This contract, in the not-to-exceed amount of $257,410, will provide construction inspection services for the partially federally funded project. This contract also will be funded through the TIF, so it requires funding approval through the RDC before we issue a notice to proceed. And I'm available for any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
I'm just curious, roughly how long is this segment going to be?
How long will the path itself be?
Yeah.
It'll extend from where the Beeline terminates at Adams Street, cross directly north of the railroad tracks till it reaches Fountain Drive. And then on the east side of Fountain Drive, it'll continue all the way up to Crescent Road. And then on the east side of Crescent Road, all the way up to 17th Street, and connect the trail that we'd already built was part of the 17th Street project.
So it sounds like several blocks.
It's a very long section, but it'll be nice because it'll actually connect the Beeline Trail to all the other trails that connect all the way up through to Ellisville. There'll be just one section that's left. And then in recent meetings, they're even thinking about extending that all the way to McCormick's Creek, that area. So it really connects the entire network together. So we're excited about the project.
Nice. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Any public comment on this item?
I see none on Zoom.
Okay. Do we have a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the construction inspection contract with Crossroad Engineers PC for the Beeline Extension Project.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now we'll go to the lane closure request from CenterPoint Energy on West 17th Street from July 20, 2022 through August 31, 2022.
Hi, Mike Stewart here with the Engineering Department. CenterPoint Energy is requesting lane closures along West 17th Street with Miller Pipeline doing the actual work for it. This will be for gas relocations for the West 17th multi-use path that will be upcoming in 2023. To accomplish this, they'll have to do, I think, 4 or 5 relatively minimal lane closures. They're anticipating most of these are going to take approximately 6 hours. But as I mentioned in the work session, with Bloomington being Bloomington, a lot of rock, a lot of other things that can kind of come up, they wanted to be on the safe side, and they said some of these may end up taking up to a couple of days. As there is no good pedestrian detour in the area, in their maintenance of traffic plans, they have indicated that crews will be on site to help any pedestrians who do come through the construction site so they can safely pass and not have to jaywalk across the road. With school coming back in session on August 3rd, we've also indicated that if they do have any closures once school has started, they'll be limited to the hours of 9 to 3, so it doesn't affect any bus traffic or parents taking their kids to school. And I think that's all that I have. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions from the board?
I'm curious if this is going to impact or bump up against the IU football schedule. Do you know?
I don't know when the first game is, but I was thinking it was September, but it's far enough. I think it's far enough away. We look more to the east of Walnut is where it really starts to affect, you get that increased traffic and all of that. So I don't know that it would necessarily be a huge concern, and I don't think any work will be taking place on a Saturday. So.
Okay. Thank you.
And I appreciate that we've added an end date, as we discussed yesterday, and Jennifer, you suggested at the end of August rather than leaving that open-ended, so thank you for that. Any public comment on this item?
I see none on Zoom.
Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, I move that we approve the lane closure request from CenterPoint Energy on West 17th Street from July 20th, 2022 through August 31st, 2022.
Motion, I'm sorry, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. All right, we'll move to the street and alley closure request from Renaissance Inc. on North Dunn Street from August 29, 2022 through September 12, 2022, and on North Grant Street from August 1st, 2022 through August 13, 2022.
Paul Kerber with City Engineering. Renaissance Inc. has a contract with Indiana University to demolish the Poplars building at 400 East 7th Street. They won't be doing any actual work in the right-of-way, but they're requesting a couple of street closures and the alley closure. The first closure is a full street closure on North Grant Street from the east-west alley just south of the Poplars building to 7th Street. And this will include the alley on the south side of the site. And they'll also be closing the sidewalk on the east side of Grant, which is adjacent to the site. And this would be from August 1st to August 13th, 2022. And they're also requesting a full street closure on North Dunn Street from the east-west alley south of the site up to 7th Street. They'll also be requesting the sidewalk on the west side of Dunn. And this closure would be from August 29th to September 9th, 2022. All these closures are requested to ensure the public safety during the demolition activities. And they'll also be enclosing the closures within a 6-foot-tall construction fence. And all of these closures would only be in place during working hours. Are there any questions?
don't have any questions. Thank you.
I don't either. Thanks. Any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve the street and alley closure request from Renaissance Incorporated on North Dunn Street from August 29th to 2022 through September 12th, 2022, and on North Grain Street from August 1st, 2022 through August 13th, 2022.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes.
Thanks.
Now we'll go to the contract with Indiana Sign and Barricade for pavement marking services.
April Rosenberger with Department of Public Works and for Joe Van Deventer for the Street Department, excuse me. Bids were opened at the May 23rd Public Works session for pavement markings contract. Indiana Sign and Barricade was the only bidder, and they were determined to be responsible and responsive for the 2022 pavement marking contract.
Questions from the board? None. Any public comment on this item?
I think it's just mainly staff and media here, so no
Okay.
public comment.
Is there a motion on this item?
I move that we approve the contract with Indiana Sign and Barricade for pavement marking services.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. And our last item of new business, the contract with Air Technology Solutions of Delaware LLC for air filtration system at the Fire Department Logistics and Training Center.
April Rosenberger, Department of Public Works, and for J.D. Boriff, Facilities Manager. And I'll try to get through this one without stumbling. The fire department staff has recognized a need to install an air filtration system at their training and logistics center. This is the facility that processes, cleans, and repairs all dirty turnout gear, tools, and various other pieces of equipment for reuse by the various units. This air filtration system will help protect staff from these dangerous compounds. A sole source purchase was approved by the city controller for this purchase.
Are there board questions on this item?
I don't have any questions, but I have a comment, which is about a year and a half ago, I went through that facility, and Bob Levisic took me through and talked about the need for this system. And I'm glad that we are getting it because it's really important to the fire department. And I'm really sorry that Bob Levisic isn't with us to see it happen.
Thank you for sharing that. Is there any public comment on this item?
No public comment.
All right, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the contract with Air Technology Solutions of Delaware LLC for air filtration system at the Fire Department Logistics and Training Center.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes. Now we'll move to staff reports and other business.
Hello, Roy Aiken with the City Engineering Department. I wanted to give a quick update on one of our city projects that we have going on right now, and that's the Crosswalks Improvement Project, where we're installing crosswalks at 11th and Blair, 3rd and Patterson, and 3rd and Grant. What we had ran into is during construction, we had realized that there was some extra work that needed to occur at the intersection of 3rd and Grant, as well as there's a development currently under construction from Gillette at that north side of 3rd Street there at 3rd and Grant. They are requiring to close that intersection of 3rd and Grant, just the Grant Street, so that they could do a water tap. And at the same time, our project needed to close that area so that we could fix the asphalt. So what we've decided is we were going to extend our closure, so 3rd Street won't be impacted. It's still down to one lane. We'll just have to close Grant Street for 1 week time. And what our thinking is, it's easier for us to close this for a week right now and have both contractors come in and do their work instead of working with two independent closures at different times. And then also, I think there's this urge to try to get this work done before the students come back this fall. So it's a bit outside what our original maintenance of traffic plan was. We just wanted to update the board, for Grant Street, then we will be closing it for 1 week, starting hopefully this Thursday, and then through next week. So about 7 to 9 days, we'll need to close Grant Street there at that intersection.
Thank you. Any other reports or business from staff?
No staff reports.
Okay, we'll move on to approval of claims. Are there any questions from the board on claims?
No.
None. Any public comment on claims?
No public comment.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move that we approve the claims for July 19th, 2022, in a total amount of $1,778,390.89.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes and claims are approved. And if there is nothing else, that adjourns tonight's meeting.
Thank you.
Thank you.